Hi, I'm John Klesnick, founder of MiniMax, and today in this video we're going to go over the many different benefits, features, and components that make the MiniMax so special in our industry. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down the table and I'm going to go over some things and share them with you. So coming into the machine is the electric, and that's where everything starts. Our competitors' cords use a folded plug, you know, the type that come out in several months and they break off, and then it's a potential OSHA fine depending on the building you're in. We actually use a hospital grade plug for our cord. On the pigtail on the handle and on the extension cord, we have hospital grade plugs. These are more durable than a German engineered industrial plug. These are the best you can buy. And on top of that, we put in a ring. So when the casing is molded on it and the ring is crushed into the cable, you'd have to rip the ring through the casing to pull the cable away from the molding, and that's just not going to happen. We actually use a metal spring. These are very strong, very durable, and we use 12 gauge wire throughout the whole machine, from the extension cord through the internal wiring, and even down through the custom American-made cable we have made coming out of the handle here. And these are illuminated, and I'll tell you why they're illuminated later on in the video. But everything done here is of a higher quality. We put on a quick locking mechanism on your handle. And what this does is this doesn't come apart until you release it. So you don't have to worry about S-hooks coming off your pigtail. You don't have to about tying this in a knot, or your cord becoming separated while you're operating your machine, which is incredibly annoying. This eliminates that problem, and MiniMax is the only company that does that. So when we get on to our wired components inside the handle, I can show you here. These are heat shrunk, and after they're crimped, heat shrunk, you can see the glue coming out. Hopefully we can see that in the video. So these are fastened 3 different ways. So my wires don't come apart. These are 10 times more expensive than the simple just crimp-ons that a lot of the American companies or overseas companies use. These are a much superior construction, takes longer to assemble. They're more expensive, but they're the best you can buy, and that's why MiniMax uses them. If we go down a little further to our chassis components, let me show you this now. If we get into steel versus aluminum, this was an old steel chassis that was made. You can see the skirt on it's not quite as far, a little less steel. And it's about 20 pounds. If we go to the aluminum, my aluminum chassis is substantially lighter. It's about, what does that say, about 7 pounds? So that makes a big difference when you're loading and unloading this, when you're going up steps. Plus, not to mention the fact that the aluminum won't rust on you. So it's just a superior material. Again, it's more expensive, it's harder to weld, but on the MiniMax we wanted the best for you, and we chose aluminum. Our components are stainless steel. Let's look at this. This is one of the 3 axles on the machine. The axle for the wheels is stainless. There's 2 axles like this for the never spill feature, and for the handle assembly, this would actually connect through here when it's attached to the chassis. We isolate everything with rubber bushings, so not only does it fit well, it doesn't vibrate or shake, it doesn't make any clinking or vibrating noises, which it's just a superior way to do it. On our never spill feature, which holds this on, you can see them in here a little bit, that holds the handle assembly on the never spill feature. The standoff is aluminum. The hardware, the washers, the lock washers, everything is everything is stainless steel on this. Our wheel bolts and washers are stainless, and all the other assemblies on here are stainless. And everything we use uses a nylon threaded insert nut, which means these aren't going to vibrate loose on you once they're fastened down. We import for the caps. These are German engineered caps. There's a special tool to pull them on. They're very difficult to get on and they don't come off. So once these are attached, your assemblies aren't going to come apart on you. One of the other improvements on this machine is the much bigger handle tube clamp. And what this does is when this is tightened with the bar that you'll use to adjust it, to loosen it and to clamp it down, this has much more bite force than other assemblies, and your handle won't slip when you're going upstairs or where you're picking it up. So it's a much better setup. This is the axle for the wheel. We use again, we use stainless steel, and these are sealed precision bearings. This is like a fidget spinner. This is just going to keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. These are non-marking wheels. They're very soft for when you're on the concrete. They're very smooth and quiet, and they're just not the cheap 5-inch $2 wheels that other companies put on their machines. Let's move down here a little further. There will be a cap on your chassis. So should you ever in the future want to add the power spot sprayer, you can pull the cap out, you can drop in the assembly, tighten it up. There's a small modification to the front sprayer, and you can add the spray system to your machine. And this will spread 30 feet. So if you put this in the middle of the room, you have 60 feet of coverage that you can reach. And I'll show you this in operation later. Our decals are, they're very high end. They're laminated so they don't get scratched or damaged very easily. And they're also reflective. So if you hit these with light, they'll glow. You have to back up. So if you're in a parking lot at night and there's a vehicle coming, you're going to your van, your machine will light up, and it's just a little safety feature that we put on. Some other things here. This is a handle support, which you can see in here. I'll show you this close up later. This is all stainless steel, and we put a foot on it that serves as a cord wrap, and we'll also show you that later in the video. The pump is a SureFlow pump. It's the best pump in its class. This will give you years of trouble-free usage. It's got a special plug on it, so you can't connect this plug into the motor plug. Comes with the cooling fin. It also has a filter on it, which is a very fine mesh filter with an O-ring. So this will protect your pump, and your front sprayers will not clog with this setup. Another thing we do is this will come with a dripless assembly, which is very helpful when you're transitioning from carpet to tile back on the carpet when you're in certain facilities and buildings. And this just comes right off. So if you want to change it and put on a different size tip, that's all you have to do. It's that fast. And what this will allow is you can clean horizontally if you want to just push the machine forward and then turn around and come back, or you can go side to side with a vertical motion and go this way. So the MiniMax offers two different spray patterns depending on how you want to use it to clean. Am I doing long hallways? Am I doing a meeting room or a small area or somebody's residence? So it gives you a bunch of different options for your spray pattern. This is a removable storage caddy. And if you look here, you can hold something as big as this pump up sprayer. So if you have some spots to do, or you need a different chemical, you can put that in here. You can put bonnets in here. And the neat thing about this is if you don't want it on the machine, it's gone that fast. So what a great convenience to have if you want to take extra things with you. So let's get a machine down. We'll go over the features on the ground. I'll plug it in. I'll show you some additional things about it. And we'll do some cleaning, and we'll do some cleaning in one of the hotel rooms and show you what the machine can do and how quiet it is, because it's going to be one of the most quiet machines on the market. Oh, one other thing. This is the power plant of the machine. This is 61 pounds of pure cleaning power. It's very smooth, it's very quiet, and it's got plenty of torque to spin brushes, any type of pad. It's not like an OP machine that's torque light where you can't use a brush on a carpet. This will easily spin a multi, something that will out clean a Cimex, and we will demonstrate that as well later. And if you want to see more on the multi-brush defeating the Cimex, you can go to Bonnet 101 at bonnetpro.com. Okay, so we started in the last segment with the premium power cord. So there's a green light here, travels up 50 feet through 12 gauge premium wire to the green light on the pigtail. And later, when I run the machine, I'll show you the green light on the motor and why we did that. So when you operate your machine, there's a safety lock off. So if it's in a building and you walk away from it and it's plugged in, this is pretty much standard through the industry. Our pump has two ways to turn it on: momentary or continuous. Now the continuous will be used if somebody uses the power pre-sprayer option, the power spotter option, formerly the satellite spray system. So there's two different ways to operate your pump, and I'll get into that more later. An exclusive Bonnet Pro design is if you lower your handle, and I get it to my favorite position. There's a lot of times you're not sure where that is, so you adjust it up and down a little bit. It takes a little bit of time. Now, with this adjustment ring, you tighten this up, and now when I move it up, every time I lower the handle, it's going to go to my favorite exact setting where I like it. And you don't have to fiddle with it each time that you use it. This ring will help you adjust it, lower it perfectly to your favorite position every single time. Let's go to the never spill feature. So one of the problems with bonnet machines is they put a shampoo tank on here, which isn't the right way to bonnet clean. And because that soaks the bonnet, all that wetness is attracted to the carpet. And then we want the soil to go in the opposite direction into a soaked bonnet. It doesn't work good. So we want to spray it down and have the moisture and the dirt go into the bonnet at the same time. But anyhow, a lot of people have the shampoo tank, and that will spill when you tip it back. So when I tip my machine back, it never spills. Isn't that fantastic? So I don't have to worry about getting leaks and issues on the carpet. We've also put a foot here with a rubber bumper, so when I lower this, I don't hit the handle on the floor and I don't put strain on the never spill cradle. So that foot hits, protects your handle, protects your cradle, and it's just a nice convenient way to lower the machine should you have to put it all the way down. And you can see on this pre-production prototype that it also serves as a cord wrap. All right, so another thing you'll like with this is if I need to refill, I just pull the jug out. I take the jug out, I go fill the jug up. I don't have to wrap the cord up or disconnect the cord, take the whole machine and worry about filling up the shampoo tank and dumping it all over the machine. I just fill the jug. So I can have jugs lined up down the hallway. I can have jugs on a cart, so I can keep going, and it's very convenient. Here's where our filter that I showed you with the fine mesh stainless steel screen goes to protect your pump. Here we have, well, I'll show you the lights now. When I turn the pump on, you're going to see two lights illuminate, here and here. And what that does, should there ever be a diagnostic issue with this machine, you know if you're getting blue light here that your electric is good, and then either the pump didn't prime, or maybe it's time for replacement if the pump's very old. The same thing's going to happen with the motor. We talked about the 2 green lights. If I turn this on, you get a green light here. Again, you can use as a diagnostic to let you know if something happens and your machine doesn't run, that everything's good in your wiring, you're getting correct power, you have the illumination. Maybe it's time for new brushes, or maybe you damaged the motor somehow, or you wore the motor out. Unlikely, but possible. Let's look at a couple other things with the handle here. Like I said, we have a much bigger clamp here. It's easily adjustable and it's easily replaced. And we have the stainless steel support. So if you look at this, the support distributes the load, the energy, onto the stainless steel axle, and it helps support the axle, or the main handle clamp. So this is very solid. It doesn't wiggle, it doesn't jiggle, it doesn't vibrate, and it gives you a great sense of control and feel when you're operating the machine. We have a kick plate here, so when I lower the machine back, I put my foot on it, and I don't scuff up the paint. And then this bumper, if I were to go too far with the handle, whoops, I set this, so let me loosen this up for our demonstration. So I can lower that all the way down. Now with this lowered all the way down, the handle hits the bumper, doesn't pull out any of the wires, doesn't pull out any of the tubing, and it also just acts as a safety feature, so I don't slam the machine down should I slip and drop the handle by accident. So that's something else that we've added in. We have swivel fittings, push lock fittings on the pump. We have an aluminum cooling fin put on here. Not only looks fantastic, but it also keeps the pump cool. We have bumper wheels, and these not only work for going down the walls, I'm also going to show you how they work going through a doorway so I don't scuff up one of these expensive wooden doors in the hotel that we're in. If you come along to the front, we have the, this one has the optional power pre-spray unit on here, and to operate that, we would just simply plug in the power pre-spray unit, turn off the flow to the front, and now everything will come through the handle. Why don't I get one and we'll look at that right now. Turn it off. So in order to operate this option, you're simply going to use your quick connect. You're going to turn off the front sprayer. I'm going to prime or fill the coil tubing by turning your pump on to continuous. It's shut off because it's full. It's a demand pump, so if there's no demand, the pump stops working. You can make sure the air's out of it just by spraying it into the jug. And the reason you would use this is, let's say you want to put protector down after you clean the carpet. You just put in the jug of protector and you can use this to spray it. If there's a food area like a restaurant and there's a lot of greasy spots, you can put in something like Surround Megazyme and pre-spray those spots with this. Instead of running the machine all around, you would just use the machine itself. So let's show you what that looks like and what the reach of this is, because it's quite good. And another neat benefit of this, these are all on swivels. So this coil hose isn't going to knot up on you. This swivel's here as well. So let's just, the spray on this is very good, and I can reach all the way over here. I can easily reach, let's go over the light, I can easily reach everything in this room all the way around, and I could spray whatever spots I needed to spray and pre-spray them, and I can just pre-spray very quickly, which is just a time saver, because as you know, time is money. And then when they're pre-sprayed, I can simply turn my pump off, release the pressure of the tubing, disconnect it, and turn my front sprayer back on. Now we're back to that quick, this option is on and off the machine and offers a great convenience. So let's put this away and we'll go over some more. So as we talked about earlier, this is a 1.5 horse motor going through a 10-to-1 gearbox, plenty of torque and power. It's very quiet and very smooth. And I'm going to put a dB meter on it when I'm running it in a little bit so you can see how quiet it is. The wheels, again, are precision sealed bearings, very smooth, very quiet, and they won't mark on the carpet. I have my spotter caddy option on this, and you can see I can put 2 quarts in here. I could take a gallon of cleaner with me. I could fill this with bonnets so I'd have a space for clean and dirty bonnets as I'm going down the hallway. I don't have to leave them. I don't have to go back and pick them up. If I'm on a hotel like this, they're not laying on the carpet if I'm by myself for a trip and fall hazard. It just looks much more professional. And if I want this off, it's that simple. Stainless steel axle, very heavy aluminum frame, caddy, built to last a lifetime, and you'll be very happy with this option should you choose to purchase it. So let's just do a minute's worth of cleaning, and then we'll get into the multi-brush and why the MiniMax is such a great option for you. So I release the safety lock off. I'm going to turn the pump on. And this is just very easy. Now I have this set a little high. I'm going to go a little lower. And when it's at right about your hip bone, it's the right section. And if I rest this on my hip, I have one finger on here. One finger I'm operating it. And it's pretty easy to run. If I get into 2 hands, the great thing about the rotary machine is I have the option. I can go anywhere I want at any given second. With the OP machine, you're forced to go because it's wheels down forward and then always playing with the cord. This way I can work my way away from the cord, and it's just much more user-friendly. If I put a multi-brush on this, I can out-clean a Cimex, definitely out-clean an OP machine. And I don't have the vibration, I don't have the shaking, I don't have any problems with my wrists. It's just a much better system using a balanced, smooth operation like this. Let's put a meter on here and see what kind of level we get at about 5 feet away. So actually I'm at 70. Let's see what the machine does. Lisa, what's that reading?
66.
So certainly quiet, certainly user-friendly in that aspect where you're not going to be disturbing people and it won't be an issue. So why would you buy a MiniMax? A MiniMax with a spray system is at least twice as fast as a regular bonnet machine will be, because I'm spraying down my pre-spray. I'm spraying it down evenly, I'm spraying it down at the right time. Your moisture is your carrying agent, like air is in extraction. So if I don't have enough moisture down, I can't hold the soil and I can't suspend it and recover it into the bonnet. So if I've pre-sprayed this room and then I go back to run my bonnet because I don't have a sprayer. Over here by the air system, it may have dried out already, opening up the door for maybe some fiber damage. It may not clean as well, it may not clean as evenly, whereas with the spray system on the machine, it's going to be perfectly balanced every time I move the machine. So if I want to put a different tip on here, I can unscrew this and put a number 3 on it in a matter of seconds. I screw it off, I put another one on, and it's that good. Now I'm going to get the other tip, so if I want to move it forward, if I'm in a long hallway, I'm going to show you how easy that is as well. All right, so these are low drift tips, so they don't aerosolize quite as much as a T-jet does. There's a heavy rubber gasket in here, and if I want to go from vertical, this is locked. There's little tabs in here, so when I put this on, this is in the right position. It's really easy to do, you can't make a mistake. If you want to go horizontal, you set the tip about even where the wings are here, and you would just twist this on. And now, if I want to clean in a forward motion, like an OP machine, I can just move forward with it. I can turn around the hallway. I can go back the other way. Turn around again. And if you like this type of motion over the swing type of motion, you can do this very easily. And if you see, I'm not having to mess with the cord. I'm working away from the cord, so it makes my job very easy. And this is very fast. It puts out the proper amount of spray. And I can just pretty effortlessly go ahead and clean this. We're going to go into one of the hotel rooms in a minute, and we'll talk some more about the advantages of the MiniMax, and we'll show you just how quickly we can freshen up one of those hotel rooms. So you saw I just cleaned a few feet in here. We go ahead and take this off. Nice amount of soil compared to what it was in a room that looked clean to begin with, and I imagine we're going to do even more with the multi-brush. So what the multi-brush will do to your machine is it will allow it to out-clean anything in the market. Cimex, OP machine, any other rotary machine, it will defeat it. And the reason it will is these bristles will not float on top of the carpet. They will comb through. There's approximately 9,000 bristles. So they're going to go in deeper than a fiber pad under a Cimex is going to do. And then as it's disturbing, loosening, and breaking up that soil, we have an Ironman cotton bonnet that's going to collect all that. So you're basically getting the benefit of a CRB and a bonnet machine in one pass. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to wet this just a little bit. We're running out of juice. All right, so I'm going to lower this. You have my favorite lock there. And let's run this. This is a brand new brush, so it's going to be a little stiff in here. And let's see what it does. And you just hear how that's combing through the fibers. It's standing up the fibers. And this is just going to reach in deeper than anything else on the market. Now I'm going to come right at you, Elise. Let's go down this area here. Now, I had already cleaned most of this, but I'm still going to assume that this is going to be fairly dirty. Carpet didn't look too bad to begin with. Not super dirty, but you can see that the bristles they go in deep, they penetrate, they just don't pontoon on the surface like a fiber pad will. So the Ironman bonnets, other than this, are treaded, so they can dig in deeper. We can see that here. There's different rows in here, so it allows it to penetrate deeper than a flat bonnet will. This would be considered a flat bonnet. So this will really just stand up the pile. You'll notice this even more on residential length carpets, where you're just going to revive that old tufted residential length carpet much better than you will with a bonnet or any other system. Plus you're collecting the soil at the same time. Back to time is money. I don't want to do 2 passes if I don't have to. I want to do a single pass because I'm going to make more per hour, and that's where the MiniMax helps you to shine. MiniMax highly endorses Bonnet Pro products because as good as the MiniMax machine is, the chemistry starts the cleaning. And if the chemistry doesn't work, the machine, the equipment will fail. I don't care whose it is, the chemistry does the cleaning. This carries it away, this breaks it up, and this takes it away for you. So Bonnet Pro products have a variety of different highly performing products with AFT that are odorless or green or have fragrance in them to suit the different needs and different situations that you're going to be in. And MiniMax can't support or recommend them enough because of their performance and how well they clean in our machines. So one of the things I like about the side bumper wheels, this is an expensive heavy door in the hotel, and I'm by myself, so what I'm going to do is I let that roll down the door, and that way I don't scuff the machine up, I don't scuff up the door, and nothing gets hurt. So I think it's just a great feature to be able to protect your machine and your customer's property. And again, going through the doorway by myself, I'll back into the door, and as the door wants to close, I'll let it sit on the wheel and it'll just roll off and I don't hit anything. So we're in the hallway and you don't hear anything from these wheels. These are actually from the wheelchair industry. They're a superior product. We're going to take this to the stair tower. We're going to go up some steps with it so we can show you, and it's just as quiet on the tile floor as it is on the carpeting. Now we're at the stair tower. So when you go up steps, just make sure your handle's nice and tight. And one thing I'll do is I'll release the safety lock off, and that way I can get my hand underneath here because my hands are a little bigger. And just going up the steps, these 8-inch wheels just roll up pretty effortlessly. This machine weighs about 107 pounds empty without the cord, maybe about 113 pounds with the cord. And this is just real easy. You can hear my voice isn't straining, and real nice to take it up the steps. Same thing coming back down. All right, so we're going to do this hotel room. We're just going to do a freshen up on it. We'll see how close the machine get up to the wall. I mentioned the multi-brush. We don't need that in here. This is in nice shape to begin with. I got some very green NanoMax in here, very effective, no odor. And we'll get up to the wall. I'm going to use a 19-inch bonnet. It gives me a little bit of overhang, and you'll see how well that glides up against the baseboard. And we'll do this room in, I would imagine, under 4 minutes. So let's start the clock, and off we go. It's very quiet. Let's get this edge here, and then we can turn around. That front sprayer is flexible, so if I have an impact, it'll bend, and I'm not going to break my sprayer. So if I want to go down the wall here, it'll go right down the wall. It'll touch all the way to the baseboard, and I can do a nice wall-to-wall cleaning with this machine. All right. So now I'm going to go forward. And I just did have an impact with the bed there. I tripped over my cameraman. And had that been very rigid, I might have snapped that. But because it's flexible, it allowed me to keep cleaning and not have a broken part on the machine. So I learned that years ago. We used to do that on the Carpet Max, and it's been a great option to have because from time to time you will crash into something, and if a part breaks, you're out of business for the day. This way, with that being able to bend and flex, it's unlikely to happen. So this desk is tall, this counter is tall, but we have a very low machine height, which means we can get into a variety of areas. I'm going to stop spraying all the way back here because that sprayer does reach out, and we'll get here by the air conditioning unit, and we can get in here very nicely. Flip her around. And one thing you notice, I'm not tripping over my cord. I'm walking away from it the whole time. With an OP machine, I have to go forward and back, and it's much slower. I don't have the freedom of movement I have with this machine. I can reach under some things, and that quick. Back to where we start. We are 3 minutes and 16 seconds to do this room. So it was very fast. And we pulled dirt out. Unlike a Cimex that's going to scrub the top and flush everything to the bottom, this machine is going to remove soil with this system. We call it the SET system, soil extraction and transfer technology. We don't use the word bonnet so much because when you go to your customers with this, the machine looks fantastic. It doesn't look like something you can rent at the hardware store. And when you say I use the SET method, they're unfamiliar with it, so automatically it gives you some credibility with the customer because you're introducing a new technology to them that they're unfamiliar with. So I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you like the MiniMax. If you have any questions, go to, if you want to get more information, go to MiniMaxCarpetMachines.com. There's also a convenience link at the top of BonnetPro.com's page, and you can get plenty more information about the machine. At the bottom of this link, I'm going to have a video where we cleaned a very, very dirty restaurant ice cream store that was just hammered. This carpets we went over today were nothing. They were just really light touch-ups. In the ice cream store, those carpets were awful. We took the multi-brush, some Bonnet Pro's products, and we knocked that one out of the park. So check out that link to see that full video and contact me if you would like a MiniMax. You have a great day now. Thank you. All right, so let's take a look. This carpet looked really clean to begin with, but you never know until you know. So let's see what we got out of this. And wow. Okay, well that was worth doing. And for 4 minutes, you know, a lot of these hotels, they don't want to pay very much, maybe $15, $18 a room. So for 4 minutes, you can do an awful lot of these in an hour and still make really good money because this machine's so fast. So something to consider when you're looking at your next purchase, look at MiniMax. Okay, we're at a local golf course and we're going to do some carpet cleaning with the new MiniMax. So because of the amount of food-based spills on this carpet, which are quite a bit and they're quite deep in the carpet, I'm going to pre-spray with the Penguin Omegazyme down and let that start to break up the sugars and the different elements of the food-based substances. And then after I decide how that works, I might go with Radical Rinse and NanoMax or Omega Citrus and NanoMax through the MiniMax to clean it. I will be using the new multi-brush. There's no more center hole and there's extra hooks here, so it does grip the bonnets better than the previous generation did. So I'm going to go over it with a multi-brush, and then I may follow up with the brand new Ironman bonnets, the 2nd generation, after that. So I'm going to pre-treat it now, let that sit for a little bit, and then let's see what the chemicals give us. So normally I don't pre-treat when I run the MiniMax because it's spraying and I'm doing everything in one pass. But because of the depth and the amount of spots on this carpet and some of the unknown origins, I wanted to put the enzyme down first. So I sprayed this, let it sit. It's probably been about 12 minutes now. So I'm going to run the MiniMax over it with the multi-brush. I decided to go with Radical Rinse with a little bit of Oxyol added to it. I did not add the NanoMax to it. I don't think we're going to need it. So let's run it a little bit and see what we get. So I did about an 8-foot wide path. So I'm going to do a hard edge here. And as you can see, this is responding quite nicely. So the chemistry does a big portion of the cleaning. The multi-brush is going to help agitate and help collect. And then of course, the MiniMax is spraying and just doing a beautiful job of making everything else happen to collect that soil into the bonnets and make this carpet look fantastic. You can see this is pretty effortless. It's pretty quiet, and it's a one-stop operation. We already have a pretty dramatic before and after. So you can notice the blue lights coming on. Not that you can't see the sprayer, but you can definitely tell with the blue lights that the machine's firing off The pump's working, and just couldn't do a nicer job right now. I'm very happy with the way this is happening. Now, if you look at the traffic lane going into the area where the girls work, where they hand out their ice cream, let's see what we get here, and it's just cutting through that so easily. This multi-brush is just a fantastic tool to put onto your rotary machine. Let me get enough room where I can spin it around.